Tonight, we're diving deep into the ancient mystery of the Unown and Arceus. For those of you who've been joining us consistently, I want to thank you for being such an integral part of our channel. If you're falling asleep with us tonight, let me know in the comments how many nights in a row you've been here. And if this is your first night, just comment day 1. Now let's get back to the video. In the beginning, there was only a swirling vacuum of nothingness. Before the concept of time had a second to tick, before the dimensions of space had an inch to stretch, there was a single egg. From that egg hatched the original one, the being we know as Arceus. With 1,000 arms, it shaped the universe, pulling order from the chaos and light from the dark. But as we look back into the deepest reaches of Pokémon history, a haunting question begins to surface. How does a single entity, even one as divine as Arceus, translate its infinite will into the physical building blocks of our world? How does a thought become a mountain, or a wish become a soul? The answer may lie not in the grand majesty of the heavens, but in the flickering, rhythmic shadows of a forgotten language. We are talking about the Unown. To the casual observer, an unknown is a curiosity. It is a small floating glyph, a living letter that seems more like a relic of a lost alphabet than a creature of flesh and blood. They are weak in isolation, possessing only the power to struggle or hidden strength. Yet when they gather, the very fabric of reality begins to fray at the seams. They are the white noise of the cosmos, the static between dimensions, and the secret code that underlines everything we see, touch, and catch. For decades, researchers from the Johto region to the distant reaches of Hisui have puzzled over a singular, chilling mystery. Did the Unown inspire the first human languages, or did the collective consciousness of humanity give birth to the Unown? This is not merely a question of linguistics, it is a question of existence itself. If Arceus is the architect of the universe, then the Unown are the blueprints. They are the DNA of reality. They're etched into the cold stone of the ruins of Alph, pulsing with an eerie light in the Solaceon ruins, and appearing in the wake of space-time distortions that threaten to swallow entire eras. There is a profound, terrifying connection between the creator and these living symbols. Some ancient texts suggest that the 1,000 arms of Arceus are not physical limbs at all, but are in fact a metaphor for the Unown themselves. A vast, shimmering army of characters that write the laws of physics into the void. Imagine, for a moment, the weight of that implication. Every tree, every ocean, and every breath you take might be composed of these silent, staring eyes. When Arceus descended to the Sinjoh ruins to create a new life, the air was thick with them. They swirled in a violent, beautiful vortex, acting as the bridge between the divine will and the material world. Without the Unown, the power of Arceus would remain an abstract concept, a song without notes, a book with empty pages. They are the medium through which the divine speaks, but the mystery goes even deeper. Why do they hide in deep chambers and silent ruins? Why do they react so violently to the presence of human emotion, as we saw when they turned a young girl's grief into a crystalline nightmare that nearly consumed the world? They are sentient, yet they lack individual identity. They are ancient, yet they appear in forms we recognize as our own alphabet. There is a disconnect here, a missing link in the history of the Pokémon world that points toward a civilization long forgotten, the people of Alph. These were humans who did not just live alongside Pokémon, but who learned to speak the language of the universe itself. They vanished, leaving behind only puzzles and echoes, perhaps having stepped through the very portals the Unown provide. Tonight we are going to step into that silence. We are going to journey through the dark corridors of ancient shrines and the shimmering rifts of the multiverse. We will examine the frantic notes of Professor Lavventon, the hushed legends of the Sinno region, and the terrifying evidence of the Unown's true potential. We will explore how these two forces, the singular God and the infinite alphabet, intertwined to maintain the balance of all things. This is a story of creation and corruption, of the power of the written word and the silence of the stars. As the world outside grows quiet and the shadows in your room begin to lengthen, let your mind drift back to the era of myth. Forget the modern world of Pokeballs and high-tech laboratories. Instead, feel the cold, damp air of a cave that hasn't seen sunlight in 3,000 years. Listen to the faint, rhythmic clicking of stone against stone, the sound of 1,000 eyes watching from the walls. We are seeking the truth behind the origin of all things. We are looking for the point where Arceus ends and the unknown begin. The stakes could not be higher. If the Unown are indeed the source of reality structure, then to understand them is to understand the mind of the Creator. To master them is to hold the pen that writes the future. But as many have discovered, some secrets are guarded by the very fabric of time itself. The unknown do not give up their answers easily, and Arceus does not look kindly on those who seek to usurp the throne of heaven. Prepare yourself for a journey into the deepest lore ever recorded. We will traverse the ruins of Johto, the heights of Mount Coronet, and the dimensions that lie between the folds of space. Yet we will piece together the fragments of a broken history, looking for the light that shines in the darkness. Close your eyes, breathe slowly, and prepare to enter the void. The mystery is waiting to be read. Deep in the Johto region, where the earth itself seems to hold its breath, the ruins of Alph stand as silent sentinels to forgotten secrets. These ancient chambers, carved into sheer rock faces, whisper of a time when puzzles locked away powers beyond mortal grasp. You can almost feel the chill seeping from cracked stone walls, moss-cloaked and etched with symbols that twist like living shadows in the flicker of a lantern's flame. 4 shrines guard the perimeter, each a chamber of movable murals depicting long-extinct beasts, Omanite curling from primordial seas, Kabuto scuttling across ancient seabeds, Aerodactyl soaring through skies long vanished. Solve their riddles, slide the panels just so, and doors grind open to reveal the main hall, a vast hollow where dust motes dance eternally in shafts of muted light. Venturing deeper, the air grows thick, heavy with the scent of damp earth and something sharper, like ozone before a storm. No wind stirs here, no birdsong pierces the vaulted ceilings. It's a place where sound dies unborn, swallowed by the weight of millennia. Explorers speak of an unease that settles in your bones, a prickling certainty that eyes watch from the gloom, unseen, unblinking. And then they emerge, flickers at first like errant thoughts made manifest, small eyeless forms, hovering with a grace that defies gravity, unknown, each one a single letter of some arcane script, spinning lazily, their black bodies rimmed in faint psychic glow. A emerges solitary, then I, then perhaps a Z, twisting through the air as if spelling secrets only they comprehend. These weren't mere illusions or tricks of weary minds. In the hush of those ruins, trainers first encountered them, drawn by legends of hidden relics. Gold in the shadowed pages of Pokémon adventures stumbled upon this awakening during his quest through gold, silver, and crystal. His sunbow's flash pierced the dark, rousing a swarm that scattered Team Rocket like leaves in a gale. But long before Johto's spotlights fell upon them, whispers of these living letters echoed from another era, from Hisui, the wild cradle of Sinnoh's past. Enter Professor Lavventon, the bespectacled scholar whose journals brim with fervour, dismissed as folly. In the untamed expanse of legends, Arceus, he pored over sketches of these peculiar beings, loose in the Hisuian wilds. They resemble the script of humans from distant lands, he scribbled, his quill scratching urgently across yellowed pages. Forms mimicking alphabets unknown in Hisui, yet eerily familiar. A, B, spiralling through 28 variations, each a puzzle unto itself. He chased them across misty veils, noting how lone unknown repelled Pokeballs with an invisible barrier. their psychic hum warping the very air around captured Pokémon. Weak individually, fragile as spun glass, they evaded battle, slipping into rifts like smoke. His peers scoffed. Linguists in Sinnoh's hallowed halls, poring over Tannabe library tomes, branded it fanciful. Living alphabet? They murmured over tea-stained manuscripts. Preposterous, surely echoes of human invention, not Pokémon predating script itself. Lavventon's findings gathered dust in Galaxy team archives, footnotes in forgotten ledgers. Did Unown birth writing, or did writing summon them? Debates raged in scholarly circles, unresolved, as if the creatures themselves guarded the truth. Yet those journals lingered, seeds of doubt in fertile minds, hinting at depths undug. What elevates these timid wanderers from curiosity to cosmic enigma? Alone and unknown poses little threat. Fleeing shadows, their attacks mere psychic nudges, but gather them in numbers, and reality frays at the edges. Telepathic choruses bind them, birthing an odd power that bends the weave of existence. In the 10th Pokémon film, they projected visions into a child's dreams, conjuring crystal spires and a phantom entei from pure thought. Legends whisper of universes warped, dimensions torn asunder, and herein lies the hook that pierces the silence. These fragile glyphs, dismissed as whimsy, form the very building blocks of creation itself. Their ties to Arceus, the alpha Pokémon, seethe beneath the surface. In Sinjoh ruins, only together do they unlock forbidden halls, suggesting Unown as fragments of the deity's boundless might. DNA-like strands, scripting reality from the void. From another dimension, they hail, preferring rift-torn mirage spots in Hoenn skies, kin perhaps to ultra beasts in their otherworldly drift. Weak, singular? Perhaps, but in their collective script, they spell the birth of the universe, letters etching stars into being. As the ruined silence yields its first reluctant secrets, shadows lengthen toward those who once communed with these enigmas. In Chapter 2, The People of Alph, we'll uncover the clan that bridged worlds with living words, what drove them to etch their pleas into stone, and why their legacy pulses still in the gloom. Within the shadowed chambers of the ruins of Alph, where Professor Lavventon's scribbled warnings first hinted at the living alphabet stirring in the dark, traces linger of those who once walked these halls as guardians. They called themselves the People of Alph, an ancient clan whose lives intertwined so deeply with the unknown that the boundary between human will and Pokémon essence blurred into legend. These weren't mere wanderers stumbling upon mystery. They were architects of enigma, shaping stone and script to commune with beings that danced on the edge of reality itself. Picture the Johto region thousands of years ago, its rolling hills cradling secrets beneath the earth. The people of Alph settled here, drawn perhaps by the subtle hum of otherworldly energy seeping from cracks in the bedrock. They learned the unknown's silent language, not through force or capture, but through patience and reverence. Unknown forms would emerge from hidden rifts, their eye-like centres glowing faintly, like stars caught in ink, and the clan watched, mimicked, until shapes became symbols. Harmony wasn't a poetic fancy, it was survival. The unknown granted visions, whispers of futures yet to unfold, and in return, the people built sanctuaries to house them, ensuring the alphabet never faded into oblivion. At the heart of their legacy stand the 4 puzzle shrines, each a testament to their ingenuity and devotion. Scattered across the ruins like forgotten keys to locked doors, these shrines demanded more than blind faith. They required understanding of the world's primordial echoes. You approach the first, its floor tiled with weathered depictions of coiled shells, reminiscent of Omanite, the spiral-shelled fossil Pokémon dredged from ancient seas. To activate it, the clan slid massive stone panels into precise alignments, forming a complete image that resonated with Unown energy. Solve the puzzle, and the chamber trembles. Unknown swarm from the walls, their forms twisting into letters that pulse with borrowed life. The second shrine mirrors this ritual, but with the armoured curve of Kabuto, eyes peering from a rocky dome as if judging the solver's worth. Here the panels demand a mosaic of prehistoric vigilance, evoking the trilobite-like guardian that once prowled shallow oceans. The people of Alph believe these fossils weren't relics of extinction, but bridges to the unknown's dimensional home, echoes of creation's raw materials, manipulated to summon the alphabet's kin. Align them wrong, and silence reigns. Align them true, and the air thickens with telepathic static, Unown emerging to etch fleeting messages on the stone. Then comes the third, dominated by Aerodactyl's jagged wings, spread in eternal flight, a pterosaur frozen mid-soar above fossilized prey. The puzzle's panels form a whirlwind of ancient skies, capturing the predator's dominion over lost eras. Legends among the clan whispered that Aerodactyl's shadow once darkened these very ruins, a spectral ally drawn by unknown summons. Completing it unleashed gusts of ethereal wind, and carrying Unown aloft in swirling patterns that mimicked forgotten alphabets from realms beyond Johto. The fourth shrine ties them all together, blending elements of Omanite's curl, Kabuto's shell, and Aerodactyl's span into a unified tapestry of rebirth. Why these fossils? The people of Alph saw them as harbingers, Pokémon revived from stone, much like Unown revived words from nothingness. These shrines weren't games, they were rites of passage, training the young to attune their minds to unknown telepathy. Success flooded the rooms with the odd power, warping shadows into shapes that hinted at universes unborn. A controlled chaos the clan wielded to foresee threats or glimpse Arceus's distant silhouette. Beyond the shrines lies the main hall, a vast cavern where the clan's deepest convictions were carved into enduring basalt. Dust motes dance in the faint light filtering through surface cracks as you trace the inscriptions with trembling fingers. Faded glyphs proclaim their words, preserved for the ages, a defiant vow etched by hands that knew time's cruelty. Linguists today pore over these lines, debating if they predate known scripts or if Unown themselves authored the phrasing. The people of Alph claimed partnership, not ownership. The Unown lent permanence to their thoughts, sealing thoughts of harmony, warnings of imbalance and pleas to future generations. One inscription stands out, half eroded but insistent. We speak through eyes that see all tongues, our voices held by those who dwell between. It speaks of rituals where clan elders entered trance-like states, channeling unknown swarms to record histories on walls that seem to breathe. They documented cataclysms, seas rising to claim Omanite's kin, skies cracking for Aerodactyl's fall, always circling back to the fossils as symbols of resilience. These weren't decorations, they were invocations, puzzles designed to awaken unknown hives that could reshape stone or summon protective barriers against invaders. Yet harmony bred vulnerability. The clan vanished without trace, leaving only these echoes. Did their deep bond with Unown draw cosmic predators? Or did they ascend, merging into the alphabet's endless forms? Whispers in Johto folklore suggest the shrines still call to the worthy, drawing Unown from their dimensional exile to test modern trainers. Venture too deep without respect, and the odd power surges unchecked, twisting reality into labyrinths from which few return unchanged. The clan's mastery hints at profounder riddles, ones that gnaw at the core of Pokémon origins. Were the Unown the spark for their language, or did human curiosity birth the living letters? That question spirals into an even greater puzzle, one that challenges everything we assume about creation itself. In the next chapter, The Chicken or the Egg, we'll unravel whether these enigmatic symbols predated humanity's first utterance or emerged from our collective dreams. Stick around, because the truth might just rewrite the dawn of it all. As the dust settles in those Johto shrines, with their fossil echoes of Aerodactyl and Kabuto frozen in stone puzzles, a deeper puzzle emerges from the shadows of the ruins of Alph. What if the people of Alph didn't just coexist with the unknown, they were shaped by them? Or perhaps the other way around? Lay scholars in the Pokémon world have long wrestled with this enigma, a linguistic chicken or egg paradox that defies easy answers. Did the unknown, those ethereal symbols drifting like living ink, inspire the very dawn of human language? Or did the flickering thoughts of our ancient ancestors, desperate to name the world around them, will these Pokémon into being? Picture the first scribes, their fingers trembling over clay tablets, tracing shapes that suddenly stirred. Unknown forms peeling away from the surface, eyes blinking open in the firelight. Professor Lavventon, in his Legends of Hisui journals, sketched these very resemblances to scripts from distant lands, calling them echoes of forgotten tongues. His peers dismissed him as a dreamer, but those forms, 28 in all, are mimicking our alphabet with uncanny precision, hint at something primordial. Turn the pages of the Canalave Library in Sinno, that towering archive where tomes whisper secrets under lantern glow, and you'll find theories etched in fading ink. Linguists there pore over scrolls claiming unknown as the building blocks of reality itself, much like strands of DNA weaving life from chaos. One dusty volume posits that human consciousness, raw and untamed, collided with these symbols eons ago, birthing language from mutual recognition. Humans saw patterns in the unknown's dance. The unknown, in turn, absorbed the intent of human minds, evolving from mere glyphs into sentient beings. It's a feedback loop, fragile yet infinite, our words giving them form, their forms giving us voice, but consensus, elusive as a mirage spot. Some argue unknown predate humanity, their dimension bleeding symbols into our Stone Age etchings. Others whisper that without human thought, they'd remain inert scribbles in the void. At the heart of these Canalave debates stands Uxie, the being of knowledge, guardian of intellect, with eyes that hold the sum of all wisdom. Legends from the library's forbidden stacks describe Uxie not as creator, but as bridge, descending from Sinnoh's lakes to illuminate the unknown for bewildered tribes. Imagine a Sinnoh elder, millennia past, staring at a swarm of unknown hovering over a cavern wall, their shapes meaningless chaos. Then Uxie appears, a golden sprite trailing psychic mist imprinting clarity into the human psyche. Suddenly the squiggles align, A for Arceus, the Alpha and Omega, Z for the zenith of creation. Together, Uxie and Unown forged comprehension, turning raw symbols into a language that tamed the wilds. Canalava texts speak of ancient rituals where shamans meditated beside Lake Acuity, channeling Uxie's knowledge to commune with unknown hives. One such rite, preserved in verse, recounts a chieftain's vision. Unknown swirling into words that prophesied the rise of regions yet unborn. This interplay hints at profound reciprocity. Unknown don't merely resemble letters. They embody thought made manifest. Gather enough of them, say a dozen pulsing in unison, and their telepathic hum warps the air, bending reality like heated glass. In the movies, they conjured crystal palaces and phantom legendaries from a child's longing, proving emotion fuels their power. Yet Canalave scholars tie this back to humanity. Without our interpretive lens, courtesy of Uxie, that power lies dormant. Were the people of Alph the first to crack this code? Their shrines not puzzles but invocations? Their fossil murals, omanite shells curling like question marks, might encode the paradox itself, either fossils of a time when Pokémon and people blurred at the edge of meaning. Delve deeper into those library alcoves, past shelves, groaning with Sinnoh epics, and you'll uncover fragments of Arceus lore woven through it all. Arceus, the original one, whose plates birthed plates of existence, could Unown be its fragmented alphabet, spelling creation? Uxie's role amplifies here, as the knowledge bearer who once granted humans the spark of sentience per Sinnoh myths. Without Uxie gazing into tribal minds, Unown might have scattered like forgotten runes, their dimensional rifts sealed. Instead, they linger, repelling Pokeballs in Hisui's wilds, defying capture as if testing our worthiness to wield their script. The paradox persists, fueling endless vigils in Canalav's reading halls. Did Unown etch the first words into human souls? Or did we dream them forth with Uxie's gentle nudge? Each theory peels back layers, revealing human consciousness, not as master, but partner in this cosmic script. And as these ideas simmer, they point toward a pivotal nexus, where Unown and Arceus converge in stone-carved secrecy. That convergence awaits in the heart of Sinnoh's hidden depths, explored fully in Chapter 4, the Sinjoh connection, where the true architecture of this mystery begins to reveal itself. Those whispers from the Canalav library, pondering whether human minds birthed the unknown, or if those floating symbols etched themselves into our thoughts first, lead us straight to a hidden threshold where Johto and Sinno collide in stone and shadow. Picture the ruins of Alph, those puzzle-locked chambers you've wandered with me before, their walls etched with ancient pleas to the people of Alph. Now follow those inscriptions northward, beyond the seas that separate regions, to a place that defies the maps of our world. The Sinjoh ruins emerge not on any trainer's Pokédex chart or explorer's log, but in a rift woven from the very fabric of legend. Scholars who've pieced together faded murals from Johto's depths notice something uncanny. The archways in Alph mirror those in Sinnoh's spear pillar, down to the interlocking spirals that evoke creation itself. Johto's shrines, with their fossil puzzles shuffling like forgotten memories, share a blueprint with Sinnoh's celestial halls, where Dialga and Palkia once clashed under Arceus's gaze. It's as if a single architect, blind to borders, carved a bridge across the continents, linking the humble dirt floors of Alph to the storm-swept peaks of Mount Coronet. You feel it in the air, don't you? That pull, like the ruins themselves, breathe in unison. Travel to the spear pillar in Sinnoh during the hush of night, when the stars align just so, and something stirs. But the door stays sealed, mocking your efforts with silence. Johto's echoes call back, urging you to the ruins of Alph, where Unown flicker like half-remembered dreams. Gather them. Not one or two, but the full spectrum, 26 forms, swirling in telepathic chorus. Their odd power builds, that reality-warping hum we've touched on before, bending light until it fractures. Yet even then, the true path remains veiled. Enter Arceus, the alpha Pokémon, creator of all, whose wheel of plates spins universes into being. Without its divine presence, summoned through rituals lost to most trainers, the bridge crumbles to illusion. Legends whisper of an event horizon. Bring Arceus to Spear Pillar, flanked by the Unown Horde, and perform the rite. Plates shift, Unown align into arcane script, and the air thickens with the scent of ozone and ancient incense. A portal yawns open, not to another region, but to Sinjoh, a name blending Sinnoh and Johto into one forbidden word. The ruins manifest, towering spires of obsidian and pearl thrusting from a void where compasses spin wildly and time loses its grip. Step inside, and the world you know unravels. Sinjoh exists beyond standard geography, a pocket realm tethered to both lands, yet beholden to neither. No Pokémon League sanctions it, no professor charts its coordinates. It's a sanctuary carved from the space between dimensions, where Unown's otherworldly home bleeds into Arceus's domain. The architecture screams of unity. Johto's puzzle floors evolve into vast mosaics depicting creation myths. Sinnoh's pillars now cradle altars, inscribed with Unown script that glows under Arceus's light. Walk the halls, and murals unfold tales of Genesis, Arceus birthing lakes, lands, skies with Unown as the ink, the atoms, the very letters spelling reality. Why this ritual? Why must deity and enigma unite? The lore insists it's no coincidence. Unown those building blocks of existence, channel Arceus's boundless power when massed together. Alone Arceus commands plates that alter type and terrain, but paired with Unown, they unlock the ruin's heart. A chamber where plates materialize from nothingness, gifts from the creator itself. Trainers who've pierced this veil speak of a hush falling, Unown orbiting Arceus like devoted scribes, transcribing divine will into form. The necessity feels ritualistic, sacred, a pact forged eons ago, when the people of Alph first glimpsed these truths and inscribed them for the ages. Delve deeper, and the bridge reveals its secrets. Johto's Alph ruins, with their Ho-Oh and fossil echoes, foreshadow Sinjoh's grandeur, where Arceus's silhouette dominates frescoes, flanked by Unown swarms. Sinnoh's lore, rich with lake guardians and creation triplets, finds its anchor here, outside the mortal map. It's a convergence point where the linguistic riddles from Tannabe gain flesh. Human consciousness, shaped by Unown, calls to Arceus across voids, bridging regions through shared stone memory. The ruins pulse with that odd power, out walls shimmering as if alive, whispering coordinates that don't exist on any globe. Venturing further, you sense the peril. Unown's collective might, amplified by Arceus, could shatter the veil entirely, warping universes as in those old movie tales, where crystals sprouted and legends strode from thought alone. Yet the ruins hold firm, a testament to balance. Sinjoh isn't just a place, it's proof of interconnected fates. Johto's quiet puzzles, birthing Sinnoh's thunderous myths in a realm apart. As the plates gleam and Unown fade back to their dimensional lairs, one chamber's shadows hint at arms, beyond counting, a thousand-fold grasp waiting to unfurl. In our next chapter, The Thousand Arms, we'll grasp those limbs of legend and uncover what they truly hold. Deep within the Sinjoh ruins, where Arceus and Unown must stand together to unveil their hidden chambers, an ancient Sinnoh myth emerges from the stone walls themselves, whispering of creation's raw force. Arceus, the alpha Pokémon, is said to have floated alone in a formless void before time began, its body a shimmering wheel of gold and shadow. From that wheel extended 1,000 arms, each one a tendril of pure intent, reaching out to shape the chaos into worlds. These arms didn't merely build, they wove the fabric of existence, flinging stars into orbits, carving continents from nothingness, and breathing life into the first Pokémon. The myth paints Arceus not as a distant god, but as an architect, whose every extension pulsed with the will to create, their tips sparking the birth of lakes, mountains, and skies. Scholars in Hisui pored over these tales etched in weathered tablets, debating their origins. Some claim the story predates even the distortion world, pulled from visions granted to the first humans by the lake guardians themselves. Others point to the spear pillar, where Arceus's plates shift to summon its arms in battle, a fleeting glimpse of that primordial power. Picture those arms not as rigid limbs, but as fluid extensions, branching endlessly like roots delving into fertile soil or rivers forking across a plain. They grasped the void's emptiness and moulded it, layer by layer, until the Pokémon world solidified. Yet the myth leaves a haunting ambiguity. What became of those 1,000 arms after creation's dawn? Did they retract into Arceus's core, or did they linger, scattered across dimensions, waiting to be called upon? Turn your gaze now to the unknown, those enigmatic letters that flock in the shadows of ruins like Alph and Tannabe. When they gather in swarms, black against the dim light, their forms twist and multiply, resembling nothing so much as a deity's outstretched limbs. Each unknown, with its single glaring eye and rune-like body, mirrors a fragment of Arceus's mythic arms, extensions of will, probing the edges of reality. Visually, the parallel strikes like lightning. A horde of unknown, undulating in unison, evokes those 1,000 tendrils, coiling and reaching, their collective gaze piercing through stone and space. Metaphorically, it's even more profound. Just as Arceus's arms imposed order on chaos, unknown swarms warped the world around them, bending physics with an odd power that defies comprehension. In the movies, you've seen it unfold, a young girl's innocent wishes amplified by a swarm, conjuring crystalline spires from thin air and summoning an Entei from pure thought. Those Unown didn't create from nothing. They channeled an ancient blueprint, their bodies aligning like limbs in a cosmic dance. Fan theories, bolstered by game lore, propose Unown as Arceus's fragmented power, dispersed after the world's forging. Why else would both be required at Sinjoh, if not to reunite creator and creation tool? The arms of the myth become the swarm in motion, each letter an arm's echo, telepathically linked, pulsing with the same creative urge. This connection deepens when you consider Unown as the biological and metaphysical DNA of the Pokémon world. Think of DNA first in our own reality. Invisible strands encoding life's blueprint, twisting helices that dictate form, function and fate. Unown operates similarly, but on a grander scale. Their shapes encode the universe's code. In Legends Arceus, loose Unown in Hisui repel Pokeballs outright, as if guarding the raw script of existence from interference. Gather enough of them, and reality glitches. Dimensions tear open in Mirage spots, ultra beasts glimpse through rifts, and thoughts manifest as matter. They're not just symbols, they're the nucleotides of Pokémon metaphysics, each form, or the twisting Z, carrying instructions for shaping Pokémon, environments, even legends. Delve into the ruins of Alph, where the people of Alph first communed with these living glyphs. Their puzzles, aligned with fossil Pokémon like Aerodactyl soaring over shrines, suggest Unown as the genetic memory of ancient life. Solve a chamber, and Unown emerge, their swarm briefly revealing glimpses of primordial seas or skies teeming with kabuto shells. It's as if they've preserved the world's evolutionary code, arms of Arceus extended through time. In the manga, Gold awakens them accidentally, and they overwhelm Team Rocket not with brute force but by rewriting the battlefield's rules. Illusions solidifying, shadows gaining teeth. Seward's army at Tannabe later proves the same. Controlled swarms halt elite 4 champions, their collective will 1,000 arms crushing opposition. Metaphysically, Unown bind the Pokémon world's layers. They bridge the physical to the conceptual, much like DNA links proteins to phenotypes. Arceus, in its loneliness before creation, dreamed the world into being through those arms. Unown perpetuate that dream, deflitting between dimensions, inscribing reality wherever they alight. Linguists in Canalava argue Unown's forms birthed human script, or vice versa, but the myth clarifies. They predate language as Arceus's tools, later interpreted by minds sharpened by Uxie. In the anime's 10th film, their dimension becomes Palkia's and Dialga's arena, a warped expanse where time and space fold like parchment, proof of their DNA-like role in upholding the cosmos. Yet this power carries peril. Swarms unchecked summon anomalies, crystal citadels, engulfing towns, legendaries born from whimsy turning destructive. Arceus's arms, once benevolent, now fragmented, risk unraveling what they built. The Sinjoh ruins demand their reunion for a reason, to remind us that creation's code must align with its source. Unown aren't mere curiosities. They're the throbbing veins of the world's design, each one a testament to Arceus's enduring reach. As we trace these threads further, the swarms reveal their true might, unleashing forces that reshape battles and destinies alike. Join me next in Chapter 6, The Power of the Swarm, where a single gathering of Unown tips the balance between order and oblivion. What happens when their numbers overwhelm even the gods themselves? Those 1,000 arms of Arceus, swirling in the primordial chaos, weren't just metaphor. They were the first glimpse of something far more primal. A single Unown drifts alone through shadowed ruins, fragile as a whisper on the wind, its eye dimly flickering, like a forgotten letter etched in stone. Harmless, elusive, dismissed by trainers as mere curiosities that scatter at the first sign of threat. Catch one, and it yields nothing but riddles. Battle it, and it fades into ether, powerless against even the weakest foe. But gather them, hundreds, thousands, linking eye to eye in a writhing vortex. What was once feeble ignites into something that devours reality itself. You've felt that pull before, haven't you? In the quiet corners of Johto's depths, where the ruins of Alph hum with unspoken warnings. Ancient scribes in Sinnoh's dusty tomes spoke of it first. The odd power, a force that stirs only when the swarm awakens. Not brute strength, like a rampardos shattering boulders, but a symphony of minds merging, telepathic threads weaving through the veil between worlds. Picture the air thickening, charged with an electric hush as Unown synchronize. Each form, A, B, spiraling sigils, pulses in unison, their collective gaze piercing dimensions. No words needed, thoughts cascade like a shared dream, amplifying until individuality dissolves. What emerges isn't a Pokémon anymore. It's omnipotence incarnate, bending the fabric of existence to its will. Historians in Canalav pored over faded parchments, piecing together accounts from the people of Alph. They described swarms descending on disobedient skies, twisting rivers into crystalline spires overnight, or summoning echoes of beasts long extinct, kabuto shells cracking open to birth living fossils right from the shrine walls. One inscription, half eroded but chilling in its precision, recounts a night when the collective hungered. Villages along the Alph River vanished, not in flame or flood, but reshaped into labyrinths of living script. Trees bore fruit shaped like question marks, winds carried voices in forgotten tongues. The people of Alph learned quickly, provoke the swarm, and your world unravels thread by thread. They built those puzzle shrines not as games, but wards. Align the stones just so, honour the forms, and the odd power slumbers. Misalign them, and the telepathic chorus rises, hungry for more. Fast forward through the ages, and the echoes persist. In Hisui's wild fringes, during legends of Arceus, loose Unown roamed like spectres, repelling Pokeballs with invisible barriers. Your throws bounced back, Pokémon inside thrashing in confusion, as if the swarm decreed no capture, no conquest. They weren't defending territory, they were enforcing a deeper law, their synchronized will rippling across the land, making the air taste of ozone and infinity. Then there's the cinema of catastrophe, the 10th movie's fever dream. A young girl, Molly Hale, in Greenfield's pristine meadows, stumbled into their dimensional rift. Unown poured forth, not as invaders, but responders to her longing. Telepathic bonds latched onto her grief, her wishes, and the swarm obliged. Images flickered, legendaries projected from her mind, a crystalline Entei roaring to life, Palkia and Dialga clashing in skies that shattered like glass. Reality warped wholesale, houses encased in jagged quartz, fields blooming with impossible flora, the town itself a canvas for the collective's artistry. Molly's dollhouse became a fortress, her fantasies tangible titans. Only Arceus's intervention quelled the storm, hinting at that ancient partnership, the deity reigning in its fragmented arms. Manga tales amplify the dread. In gold, silver and crystal arcs, gold's careless flash at the ruins of Alph roused a horde. They swarmed Team Rocket, not with fangs or fire, but by unravelling their plans. Illusions of defeat, paths looping into madness, victories slipping like sand. Later, in fire red and leaf green, Surd commanded a unknown legion from Tannabe's depths. Elite Four trembled as the swarm warped the battlefield, platforms materializing from void, attacks redirected through portals, the very rules of combat rewritten mid-clash. Red, blue, green, legends all barely escaped, their resolve tested against a power that laughed at strategy. This is the swarm's secret. Solitude renders unknown whispers. Unity forges thunder. Their telepathic web doesn't just communicate, it evolves, drawing from every mind it touches, human or Pokémon. Ancient texts warn of thresholds. A dozen unknown hum curiously, 50 etch warnings in the stars, 1,000 rewrite history. The people of Alph revered it as divine extension, a bridge to Arceus's will. Modern scholars whisper of quantum echoes, swarms as particles collapsing waveforms into matter. But feel it in your bones, that when they gather, the universe listens. And nowhere did that listening turn to chaos quite like in Greenfield. What began as a little girl's wish spiraled into a reality-shattering nightmare, pulling even the fabric of time into question. Chapter 7, The Greenfield Incident, uncovers how one swarm's unchecked power nearly erased a town from existence, and the fragile threads that held it back. That odd power, humming through telepathic swarms of Unown, didn't stay buried in dusty scrolls or forgotten ruins forever. It clawed its way into the modern world, shattering the veil between dream and reality in a sleepy coastal town called Greenfield. Picture the scene: a sprawling Greenfield estate, perched on cliffs overlooking crashing waves, home to the brilliant Professor Marcus Hale. He was no ordinary researcher. Obsessed with Unown, Hale had turned his mansion into a labyrinth of artifacts, shimmering relics from the ruins of Alph, etched stones pulsing with faint, otherworldly energy. He'd collected dozens of those eye-like Pokémon, sealing them in a vast chamber deep underground, convinced their collective gaze held the key to bending reality itself. But one fateful day, as he peered into that swirling vortex of floating letters, chanting incantations pieced from ancient Alph scripts, something shifted. The air thickened, crackling with static. Hale vanished without a trace. He swallowed whole by a rift of his own making. His notes scattered across the lab floor spoke of voices in his head, endless whispers promising creation beyond imagination. The professor was gone, and in his absence the Unown turned their gaze elsewhere. Enter Molly Hale, his young daughter, a fragile girl of barely 10, left alone in that echoing mansion. Her world had crumbled, mother long past, father now a ghost. Loneliness wrapped around her, like fog rolling off the sea. She wandered the estate's overgrown gardens, kicking at crystal shards that began appearing overnight, jagged, iridescent formations sprouting from the earth like frozen dreams. One evening, as twilight bled purple across the sky, Molly slipped into her father's forbidden chamber. Hundreds of Unown hovered there, their single eyes locking onto her, bodies twisting into letters that formed words only she could hear, not commands, not judgments, just echoes of her thoughts, amplified into visions projected on the walls. A grand castle, a loving family, legendary Pokémon striding through meadows. The Unown didn't create from nothing. They drank in her deepest longings, her childish fantasies sharpened by grief, and spat them back as solid truth. What happened next chilled the Pokémon world to its core. Molly's imagination, unchecked and pure, poured through the Unown like ink through a sieve. The estate warped overnight. Crystal spires pierced the roof, growing taller than trees, refracting sunlight into blinding rainbows that scorched the grass below. Rooms expanded into vast halls where illusions flickered into flesh. Ho-Oh soaring overhead, its rainbow wings casting warm glows that felt real enough to touch. But the pinnacle, the true horror, was Entei. Molly, yearning for a father who would never leave, willed a protector into being. From swirling psychic mist, the massive volcanic beast materialized, fur like smouldering embers, eyes burning with fierce loyalty. It wasn't just a copy of the legendary from Johto folklore. It breathed fire that singed the air, pawed the ground with paws that cratered stone, and spoke to her in rumbling tones, calling itself her devoted parent. Entei scooped her up, cradling her in paws that could melt mountains, and together they ruled a kingdom born of a little girl's broken heart. You can almost feel the weight of it, the humid sea breeze carrying the scent of ozone and brimstone as Entei rampaged through Greenfield streets. Trainers sent their Pokémon against it, but the beast shrugged off attacks like summer rain, its roars echoing off crystal walls that regenerated faster than they shattered. Molly floated above it all on a throne of solidified daydreams, oblivious at first to the chaos. Homes cracked under crystalline overgrowth. The town isolated itself behind barriers, Ash Ketchum and his friends racing to the rescue, Pikachu's thunderbolts glancing harmlessly off barriers woven from pure whimsy. The Unown swarmed denser now, their forms spelling out Molly's name in the sky, feeding her visions even as reality buckled. Here's where the terror sinks in deep. Those Unown, with their blank stares and emotionless drift, possess no moral compass whatsoever. They aren't benevolent creators or malevolent destroyers. They're mirrors, perfect, yet pitiless reflectors of the mind that summons them. Hale's scholarly ambition pulled him into oblivion. Molly's innocent despair birthed apocalypse. A swarm of 1,000, synchronized in psychic harmony, doesn't judge the desire, it amplifies. Want a castle? It rises, crushing homes beneath. Crave a fiery guardian? Entei erupts, scorching fields and endangering lives. Their power transmutes thought to matter atom by atom, imagination's wildest strokes etched into the fabric of the universe. No ethics, no restraint, just raw manifestation. In Greenfield, Molly's childlike wishes spiraled into catastrophe because the Unown offered no boundaries, no whispered cautions. They simply made it real, every fleeting fancy hardening into peril. Delve deeper into the mechanics, and it grows even more unnerving. Eyewitness accounts from the incident describe the air humming with a low resonant frequency, like 1,000 voices murmuring in unison. Unown don't warp reality through brute force. They rewrite it at the quantum level, their collective, odd power acting as programmable code. Molly visualized Entei's form, towering frame, 3 volcanoes on its back, mane flowing like lava, and the Unown assembled it from ethereal particles, drawing energy from some unseen dimension. Crystals weren't mere decorations. They were the scaffolding of her mental blueprint, growing where her gaze lingered, solidifying her loneliness into tangible isolation domes that trapped the town. Even the legendary projections, Suicune gliding through mists, Tannabe darting among blooms, faded when her focus shifted, dissolving back to psychic vapor. But Entei endured, bound to her paternal ideal, loyal until the spell shattered. Rescue came through raw willpower. Ash, channeling his unbreakable bond with Pikachu, pierced Molly's fantasy bubble. He confronted her, not with force, but empathy, reminding her of real connections amid the illusions. As her desires wavered, the Unown faltered. Entei dissolved into sparks, crystals crumbled to dust, and the swarm retreated, eyes dimming as they slipped away. Professor Hale re-emerged, aged and haunted, pulled back from whatever void he'd glimpsed. Greenfield stood scarred but standing, a testament to the double-edged blade of Unown power. Yet that mirror quality lingers in every tale. What if your own unspoken wishes fed such a swarm? Greenfield wasn't unique, it was a warning. Those letter-shaped enigmas served the observer utterly, blind to consequence. Hale sought knowledge, Molly sought love. Both got exactly what they imagined, and far more. And as we peel back these layers of creation and peril, the trail leads straight into dimensional rifts and mirage spots, where Unown slip through tears in our world, beckoning you to follow into realms that defy everything you know. Before we dive deeper into this incredible journey, I'm curious, where in the world are you watching this from? Drop a comment below and let our global community know. And if you're finding this as mind-blowing as I am, hit that like button to help more people discover this story. What if the crystalline spires that sprouted from Molly's whims in Greenfield weren't born from this world at all, but leaked through from a tear in reality itself? Those Unown didn't just reshape matter, they bridged dimensions, pulling fantasies into form from places we can't fully grasp. In the sun-drenched expanses of Hoenn, where the ocean meets sky in endless blues, trainers have chased fleeting glimpses of these enigmatic Pokémon through what's known as Mirage spots. These aren't ordinary wild encounters. Picture vast skies suddenly rippling like heat haze over desert sands, only instead of distortion, shimmering portals wink into existence, brief windows to other realms. In the remakes of Ruby and Sapphire, you scan the horizon with your scanning device, heart pounding as a notification chimes. A Mirage spot has appeared. Sail out there on your winged Latios or Latius, and you find Unown hovering in clusters, their letter-like bodies twisting against backdrops of fractured space. They're not hiding in caves or forests anymore. They're slipping in and out of rifts that pulse with otherworldly energy, visible only under specific conditions like meteor showers or solar eclipses in the game's lore. These spots aren't random. They tie directly into Hoenn's ancient weather phenomena, the ones manipulated by the legendary weather trio, Groudon, Kyogre and Rayquaza. When the region's primal forces clash, stirring up perpetual storms or droughts, the fabric of space thins. Unown exploit these weaknesses, drawn like moths to a flame. Reports from veteran explorers describe how the air grows thick, charged with static that makes your skin prickle. And then the spot materializes. A hovering island or a floating ring of light, teeming with Unown in patterns that spell out forgotten scripts across the void. Catch them there, and you feel it, a subtle wrongness, as if you've snatched something that doesn't belong, something that whispers of infinities beyond Hoenn's shores. But track these rifts further, and you uncover a deeper pattern linking Hoenn's anomalies straight to Alola's ultra wormholes. You know, those vibrant swirling portals from sun and moon, gateways punched open by ultra beasts invading our world. Unown habitats mirror them eerily. Both thrive in the interstitial spaces between dimensions, places where physics bends and multiple realities overlap. In Alola, Lucamine's Ether Foundation catalogued how ultra wormholes destabilize local spacetime, much like Mirage spots do in Hoenn. Unown, it seems, navigate these as home turf. Fan theories backed by game data posit that Unown were the original Rift dwellers, predating even the Ultra Beasts. Their odd power doesn't just warp reality here, it's native to the cracks between worlds. Consider the mechanics. Ultra wormholes require immense energy to sustain, often fueled by legendary interventions like Necrozma's Light or Pheromosa's Speed. Unown? They generate their own, gather enough of them, and they synchronize telepathically, forming living conduits that stabilize rifts. In the movies, we saw this on a catastrophic scale, Unown's dimension becoming a battleground for Palkia and Dialga, space folding in on itself. Translate that to Hoenn and Alola, and Mirage spots emerge as baby versions, Unown testing the barriers, probing for stable entry points. Why else would they cluster in these exact anomalies, vanishing as quickly as they appear? They're not lost, they're commuting. This preference for the void runs soul deep, yet tied to their very essence. Unown helped forge our physical world, remember? Those 1,000 arms of Arceus, swarming with Unown-like forms, shaped plates into elements, birthed continents from chaos. Yet they shun it. Why? The physical realm is constraining, a crude scaffold of their grander designs. In the void, the fluid expanse of pure potential, they exist unbound. No gravity to weigh their forms, no time to sequence their dances. Here in our world, they're echoes, diluted by matter's rigidity. Ancient texts from the ruins of Alph hint at this exile, The people of Alph beseeched Unown to stay, to teach more of their script, but the Pokémon retreated, preferring the endless nothing, where thoughts manifest without friction. Feel the tragedy in that. Creators weary of their creation are lingering only when swarms amplify their might, or when rifts call them back. In legends, Arceus loose Unown. In Hisui, repelled Pokeballs outright, as if rejecting capture symbolized their disdain for containment. They distort space around them, phasing through obstacles, hinting at bodies attuned to higher dimensions. Hoenn's Mirage spots offer temporary respite, pockets of void amid solidity, while Alola's wormholes promise fuller immersion. Ultra beasts crash through aggressively, but Unown glide, observers more than invaders, sustaining the portals that let their kin peek through. Dive deeper into the lore, and you sense a cosmic reluctance. Unown's forms, those 28 letters plus punctuation, aren't arbitrary. They're runes of the void, etched in dimensions where language precedes form. In our world, they flicker, half real, just but there. They pulse with unbridled syntax, scripting realities on demand. That's why swarms in rifts grow volatile. Proximity to the void amplifies them, risking spills like Greenfield's crystal apocalypse. Track them across Hoenn's seas, from the rippling skies over Route 134 to the elusive spots near Evergrande City, and each encounter reinforces it. They're tourists in our reality, homesick for the infinite. Yet these rifts whisper of greater instabilities ahead. In the ancient snows of Hisui, where space-time fractures under Arceus's gaze, unknown anomalies took on even stranger forms, repelling not just balls but the very fabric of exploration itself. Chapter 9. The Hisui Anomalies. He uncovers how these voids collided with human ambition in ways that reshaped history. What happens when rift dwellers clash with a region on the brink of creation? You won't want to miss it. As the fragile boundaries between dimensions thinned in Hoenn's Mirage spots and echoed through Alola's ultra wormholes, those tears in reality reached their most chaotic crescendo, not in modern skies, but in the untamed frontier of ancient Hisui. Picture the vast plateaus and jagged peaks of that primal land, where the air hummed with an unnatural tension, space itself warping like parchment held too close to flame. This was the space-time rift crisis, a cataclysm that hurled Pokémon from eras, yet unborn, into the paths of early surveyors, twisting the fabric of time into knots no human eye could fully unravel. Amid the swirling distortions, glowing sigils began to materialize, unknown, not huddled in ruins or swarms, but scattered like forgotten script across the length and breadth of Hisui. They drifted through crimson-tinged mists, their translucent bodies etching letters into the very air, from the shadowy eaves of obsidian fieldlands to the windswept heights of Coronet Highlands. These weren't mere wanderers. They pulsed with an otherworldly defiance, as if the rifts had summoned them from the heart of creation itself, guardians or harbingers of the upheaval. Surveyors whispered of encountering clusters near sacred groves, where the ground trembled and distant thunder rolled without clouds. The unknown's forms flickering between visibility and void, always just beyond reach. What set these Hisuian unknown apart was no subtle quirk, but a profound rejection of capture. Our standard Pokeballs, those reliable spheres trusted by every aspiring trainer, proved utterly futile. Hurl one toward a hovering unknown, and it would halt mid-air, repelled by an invisible barrier that sent it spinning back toward the thrower with startling force. Even more bewildering, if a ball contained a Pokémon already, say a loyal Growlithe or a swift Starly, it would eject its occupant upon contact, the creature tumbling free in confusion, while the unknown remained untouched, its glyph-like eye gleaming with quiet amusement. Reports flooded the Galaxy team's outposts. Balls dented from repeated rebounds, Pokémon startled and disoriented, and unknown vanishing into rift-born fog the moment pressure mounted. This immunity wasn't random chaos. It hinted at a deliberate design, a shield woven from the same threads that bound Unown to reality's edges. In the heat of those pursuits, researchers noted how the Unown seemed to anticipate every move, their collective gaze syncing in silent telepathy, forming barriers that shimmered like heat haze over sun-baked earth. One surveyor, notebook smudged with rift residue, described a standoff in the Alabaster Icelands where a dozen Unown aligned into a cryptic phrase, repelling not just balls, but the very intent behind them, as if they judged the worthiness of those who sought to claim them. These encounters forced a re-evaluation. Unown weren't prey to be ensnared. They were anomalies demanding reverence, their presence amid the rifts, a clue to greater forces at play. Professor Lavventon, ever the meticulous chronicler, tucked away in Jubilife Village, pored over these accounts in the dim glow of lantern light, his quill scratching late into the night. But beyond his published tomes lay secret notes, tucked into the margins of forgotten journals, where he dared connect the dots others overlooked. He wrote of the Unown's intimate tie to what he termed the Great Sinno, that mythic entity whispered in ancient clan firesides. Not merely the land, but a colossal presence shaping its destiny. Lavventon speculated that these letter beings served as emissaries, their forms echoing the runes carved into Hisui's noblest plates, linking back to Arceus through threads of divine script. Delve deeper into those hidden pages, and Lavventon's hand grew fervent. The Unown, he posited, resonated with the Great Sinno's pulse, amplifying its will during the Rift Crisis. When distortions peaked, or Unown clusters would flare brighter, stabilizing pockets of reality amid the frenzy, preventing total collapse perhaps, or heralding the deity's intervention. He cross-referenced faded clan murals depicting swirling glyphs around a central wheel, akin to Arceus's plates, suggesting Unown as extensions of that wheel's spokes, building blocks flung wide to mend the fraying cosmos. These weren't flights of fancy. Lavventon tied them to eyewitnesses who felt an inexplicable calm near Unown swarms, as if the air thickened with protective intent, warding off the rift's wilder incursions. Yet Lavventon's most guarded insight lingered on the fringes. The Great Sinno as a veiled reference to Arceus's ancient dominion over Hisui, with Unown as its unspoken vocabulary, scripting reality anew. He pondered if their Pokeball defiance stemmed from this lineage, a refusal to be bound by tools, forged in a world still raw, demanding instead a harmony born of understanding. These notes, smuggled past skeptical eyes, painted Unown not as pests amid crisis, but pivotal players, their scatter across Hisui a deliberate dispersal to safeguard the region's soul. As the rifts scarred the land and faded, leaving Unown to reclaim hidden crevices, questions mounted. Why this era, this place for such bold displays? The answers seemed to whisper from shadowed chambers far across the sea, where Unown carved keys into stone that no puzzle could fully decode. That trail leads us straight to Chapter 10, the Tannabe key, where a forgotten archipelago guards a convergence that might finally spell out Unown's ultimate role in Arceus's grand design. While those elusive Unown scattered across ancient Hisui repelled every Pokeball with an otherworldly defiance, trainers pushing deeper into uncharted waters found themselves drawn to the Sevi Islands, a chain of forgotten atolls where the sea whispers secrets older than the stars. Seven Island, the southernmost jewel in this archipelago, guards one of Pokemon's most enigmatic sites, the Tannabe ruins. Picture salt-crusted stones jutting from turquoise waves, their surfaces etched with faint, swirling shapes that seem to shift when you stare too long, shapes that echo the very forms of the Unown themselves. You arrive by boat at dawn, the air thick with humidity and the distant cry of wing gull. Seven Island feels worlds away from the mainland bustle, its paths overgrown and its residents tight-lipped about the ruins offshore. A rickety pier leads to a hidden cove where 7 distinct chambers rise from the shallows like the fingers of some submerged hand. Each one bears a name carved in weathered rock: Monian Chamber, Lipton Chamber, Grunton Chamber, Toman Chamber, Rixie Chamber, Viapoise Chamber, and at the heart, the elusive Tannabe key. Local lore speaks of ancient seals binding immense power within, seals that no brute force could shatter, only the precise alignment of unknown forms. Step inside the first chamber, Monian, and you're met by echoing drips and walls alive with shadowy flickers. Unown drift here, like living graffiti, their bodies twisting into letters, A, B, C, the foundational trio. But catch them, catalogue them in your PC, and something stirs. The doors to neighbouring chambers hum faintly, as if recognising kin. It's no random swarm. These ruins demand a sequence, a literal code etched into the stone by hands long turned to dust. Trainers who scour the ruins of Sinjoh first, amassing Unown in order, starting with those simple curves and lines, return to Tannabe transformed. Place the right forms in your box, aligned by their shapes, and the seals crack open, one by one. Feel the thrill as Lipton yields to your progress, its interior pulsing with D through F, the Unown emerging in greater numbers, their telepathic hum vibrating through your bones. Grunton follows, G to I unlocking corridors that were mere walls before. Each chamber builds on the last, a progressive cipher where the Unown aren't prizes but keys, forged letters that fit ancient locks. By the time you reach Rixie and Viapoise with J through U in your arsenal, the air grows heavy, charged with that odd power we've traced from Greenfield to Hisui. The final seal, guarding Tannabe key itself, requires the full spectrum V, W, X, Y, Z, arranged not just by capture, but by the deliberate sequence of their discovery. Solve it, and the chamber floods with light, Unown swarming in perfect formation, revealing murals that pulse like a heartbeat. What makes this code so profound isn't just the mechanics, it's the script itself. Those Unown shapes on the walls, clustered in patterns that defy casual reading, mirror the braille inscriptions scattered across Hoenn's deepest ruins. You know them. The sealed doors of the desert ruins, the watery enigmas of the sealed chamber, the towering puzzles of Island Cave, Hoenn's braille, dots and voids spelling commands to awaken slumbering titans like Regirock, Regise, and Registeel. It shares an uncanny kinship with Tannabe's designs. Translate the clusters here, treating each Unown form as a braille cell, and messages emerge. Directives to align the letters, summon the unseen, phrases that evoke Arceus' 1,000 arms, weaving reality from script. Scholars whisper that the people of Alph didn't craft this alone. The Sivai Islanders, descendants of ancient mariners, might have bridged Johto and Hun through trade routes lost to time, carrying Unown knowledge across oceans. Imagine vessels laden with scrolls, Unown tucked in holds, their forms transcribed onto clay tablets that evolved into Hoenn's dot matrix script. In Tannabe Key's core, the final mural depicts a wheel of all 26 forms radiating from a central void, a black hole framed by golden plates, unmistakably Arceus. Activate the sequence fully, and the chamber trembles, Unown converging to bend space just enough to glimpse another dimension, a rift teasing the same Mirage spots we chased in Hoenn. This isn't mere gameplay, it's a testament to Unown as the literal building blocks of Pokémon mythos. Their sequence doesn't just unlock rooms, it deciphers seals meant to contain forces that could reshape islands. Why here, in the Savai's isolation? Perhaps to protect the code from those unworthy, ensuring only the patient, the perceptive, could wield it. And wield it some did, as whispers from the shadows hint at darker applications. Those who mastered the Tannabe Key turned its power outward, arming themselves against the mightiest foes imaginable. What happens when this arcane sequence becomes a weapon in the arsenal of the elite? That's the gripping revelation awaiting in Chapter 11, Weapons of the Elite, where ambition collides with the unknown's boundless might in ways that could shatter everything we've uncovered so far. Those ancient seals of the Tannabe ruins, cracked open by the precise sequence of unknown forms, spilled forth more than forgotten relics. They released a swarm that twisted into weapons of unimaginable precision, falling straight into the grasp of Team Rocket's most ruthless enforcer. Serd, the shadowy commander with eyes like fractured obsidian, had been watching the Sivai Islands for years. She knew the Tannabe chambers held the key, not just to puzzles, but to domination. In the shadowed depths of those ruins, she gathered them. Hundreds of Unown, their glyph-like bodies hovering in eerie formation, yet their telepathic hum filling the air like a distant storm. No Pokeball could contain this legion. Serd bound them through sheer will, whispering commands in the tongue of the ancients she'd pieced together from crumbling tablets. Team Rocket's archives whispered of earlier failures. Back in Johto, at the ruins of Alph, a burst of light had awakened Unown that turned viciously on intruders, scattering grunts like leaves in a gale. But Serd learned from those defeats. She turned the living alphabet into her personal vanguard, a tactical army that didn't strike with fangs or fire, but reshaped the battlefield itself. Picture the air thickening as her Unown swarmed into position, their forms linking like chain letters spelling doom. Against the Elite Four, they deployed without mercy. Lorelei's icy barrage shattered harmlessly against walls of warped reality, crystals blooming from nothing to encase her Glarly in unmelting frost. Bruno's hulking Machamp charged forward, only for the ground to ripple and fold, teleporting him into voids where punches met empty echoes. Agatha's ghosts phased through illusions conjured from thin air, spectral haunters that weren't there, draining will before claws could connect. And Lance, the Dragon Master, watched his Charizard's flames twist back upon itself, forming cages of living fire that seared without heat. Serd's army didn't just fight, it anticipated, adapted, rewrote the rules mid-clash. Each Unown pulsed with that odd power, the collective force bending space, time, even probability, turning elite strategies into futile scribbles. Yet victory came at a price no human mind was built to pay. Commanding the Unown demanded more than strategy. It required merging with their hive consciousness, letting their ancient chatter flood your thoughts. Trainers who dared, even briefly, described it later in hushed, fractured accounts, smuggled from rocket hideouts. The first whispers start soft, like wind through ruins, forming words you almost recognize, letters assembling into sentences from a language older than stone. Then the visions hit, glimpses of other dimensions, endless alphabets, scripting universes into being. Your own memories blur at the edges, overwritten by echoes of the people of Alph, their pleas preserved in the walls. Serd endured it longest, her gaze growing vacant as she synchronized, but lesser handlers cracked faster. One grunt clawed at his eyes, babbling about eyes within eyes staring back from every letter. Another wandered the Tannabe shores for days, tracing invisible glyphs in the sand, convinced his Pokémon were dissolving into script. The psychological toll carved deep, insomnia haunted by floating forms, voices debating your sanity in a dialect that rewired synapses. To command the living alphabet was to invite it to rewrite you from the inside. This was no random skirmish. Serd's Unown horde targeted the pinnacle of power, red, blue, and green, the indomitable champions whose names echoed through Kanto's halls. As they pressed towards Cinnabar, seeking Giovanni's throne, the swarm ambushed without warning. Red's Pikachu unleashed thunderbolts that looped back in paradoxical arcs, striking allies instead. Blue's Pidgeot soared into Mirage winds that shredded wings into paper illusions. Green's cunning plays faltered as Unown scripted false terrains. rivers where land stood, shadows birthing phantom foes. The champions pushed through, battered and bewildered, but the delay cost them dearly, allowing Rocket's deeper machinations to unfold. These weren't mere Pokémon, they were impediments forged from the fabric of creation, halting the world's strongest, not by brute force, but by unravelling their reality one glyph at a time. Team Rocket's dark experiment with the Unown faded into legend, but the scars lingered in the minds of those who survived the command. Surd vanished into the ether, her army dispersing like mist at dawn, yet whispers persist of other shadows seeking to harness that tactical nightmare. What if such power clashed not with trainers, but with gods themselves? Rest easy now, as we edge closer to the divine fray. Up next in Chapter 12, the Battle of the Gods, you'll witness Unown's swarm collide with forces that could unmake worlds. Stay tuned, because what brews there defies even the alphabet's wildest script. While Seared twisted the Unown into weapons for Team Rocket's schemes, commanding their psychic fury like a puppeteer pulling strings on living letters, those encounters barely scratched the surface of their true domain. Far beyond the ruins and chambers where humans dared to meddle, the Unown dwell in a vast otherworldly expanse, a dimension all their own, pulsing with an incomprehensible script that scripts reality itself. This hidden realm, shrouded in enigma, emerges most dramatically in the chaos of the 10th Pokémon movie, where the fabric of existence frays under the weight of godly wrath. Dialga, the Lord of Time, and Palkia, Sovereign of Space, locked in eternal rivalry, tear through dimensions seeking dominance. Their clash isn't confined to our world, it spills into the Unown's sanctuary, transforming it into the ultimate neutral ground. Why there, you might wonder? Because this dimension exists outside the rigid flows of chronology and geography, untethered, impartial, a void where neither titan holds unchallenged sway. Picture the scene, though not with your eyes closed, but with the mind's quiet focus, swirling vortices of ebony and silver, etched with glowing Unown forms that drift like ancient runes in a cosmic fog. Dialga's roars warp moments into echoes, stretching seconds into eternities, while Palkia's surges crumple distances, folding horizons into knots. Yet the Unown dimension endures, not by brute force, but by the sheer multitude of its inhabitants. Billions of them, perhaps trillions, form a living lattice, their telepathic hum binding the chaos. Here's the profound truth at the heart of it. The Unown act as white noise for the universe. That constant, subtle static you hear in quiet rooms, the hiss beneath silence, amplify it across infinities. Their collective presence drowns out the dissonant frequencies of Dialga and Palkia's powers. Time doesn't shatter completely because the Unown's psychic drone stabilizes the temporal streams, muffling Dialga's distortions. Space holds firm against Palkia's rending because the Unown weave a subtle counter-harmony, their forms interlocking like pixels refusing to glitch. In the movie's unfolding nightmare, Alamos Town becomes the epicenter, a pocket of our reality pierced by this interdimensional storm. The two legends, eyes blazing with primal fury, barrel into the Unown realm, their bodies colossal shadows against the rune-lit haze. Dialga's metallic hide gleams as it summons platinum orbs that rewind the air itself, unravelling structures backward into non-existence. Palkia counters with spatial blades, slicing voids that swallow light and matter alike. The Unown, sensing the intrusion, swarm in response, not aggressively, but instinctively, their bodies flashing in patterns that spell warnings no human eye can fully decipher. Disturb those guardians, though, and reality unravels like thread from a loom. When Dialga and Palkia's energies disrupt the Unown's equilibrium, cracks spiderweb through the veil. In Alamos, this manifests as warped architecture. Buildings twisting into impossible geometries, skies fracturing into mirrored shards, reflecting alternate histories. shadows detached from their owners, wandering as independent entities. Time loops trap innocence in repeating moments, a child's laughter echoing eternally from yesterday, a hero's strike forever unlanding. Deeper still, the disturbance amplifies the unknown's odd power to catastrophic scales. Normally, a gathering of dozens bends reality playfully, conjuring illusions or repelling intrusions, as we saw with Molly Hale or the Hisui and Wilds. But under godly assault, thousands upon thousands synchronize, their telepathic chorus amplifying into a symphony of creation and destruction. Crystal spires erupt from nothingness, mimicking the crystalline layers of these legends themselves. Phantasmal echoes of other Pokémon flicker into being, ghostly Regigigas lumbering through the fog, illusory Cresselia weaving dreams that bleed into wakefulness. The Unown don't fight back with claws or flames, they rewrite the rules. Their dimension, this neutral arena, begins to bleed into ours. Palkia's spatial dominion frays first, punching holes that lead to pocket voids, endless abysses where gravity inverts, and stars wheel overhead like fireflies. Dialga retaliates, compressing those voids into temporal singularities, moments where past, present, and future collide in a single, agonizing instant. Caught in the crossfire, the Unown scatter like startled script, their absence creating silent zones where physics fails outright. In those silent pockets, reality doesn't just bend, it forgets itself. Water flows upward in defiant arcs. Voices speak in languages yet to be invented. Trainers who venture too close report visions of Arceus itself, watching impassively from the dimensional brink, as if the Unown are extensions of its will, building blocks disturbed, demanding restoration. The toll mirrors what Seared's handlers endured but magnified, minds fracturing under the weight of glimpsed infinities, psyches dissolving into the white noise they once commanded. Yet amid the apocalypse, a fragile balance re-emerges. Darkrai, the nightmare bringer, intervenes not out of heroism, but survival, lulling the titans into slumber, long enough for the Unown to regroup. Their hum rebuilds, layer by psychic layer, stitching time and space anew. Alamos Town exhales, the fractures seal, but faint scars linger. Whispers of Unown script etched into stone, eternal reminders of the cost. This battle reveals the Unown not as mere spectators, but as the universe's quiet arbiters. Their dimension, this vast scriptorium beyond our grasp, enforces neutrality by sheer existential necessity. Disturb them at the intersection of time and space, and you court oblivion. Dialga and Palkia withdraw, chastened or sated, leaving the white noise to resume its eternal vigil. As the echoes of this godly fray fade, we turn our gaze to something even more foundational, the intricate patterns these living letters trace in the act of creation itself. In the next chapter, the geometry of creation, uncover how the Unown's forms encode the very blueprint of existence, pulling you deeper into mysteries that shape worlds from mere angles and lines. Within the swirling chaos of that unknown dimension, where Dialga and Palkia clashed like titans, locked in eternal strife, those countless floating symbols didn't just hum as background static. They formed the very scaffolding holding reality intact. Their jagged edges and looping curves interlocking like invisible gears in a cosmic engine. Each Unown, with its singular glyph etched into existence, pulses with a deliberate design, a geometry so precise it whispers of deliberate authorship. Consider the core 26 letters, those alphabetic sentinels from A through Z. The A stands tall as an inverted V, two converging lines meeting at a crossbar, he evoking the pyramid's apex where heaven touches earth, a symbol of stability born from tension. B curves in dual lobes, like overlapping spheres sliced by parallels, hinting at duality, the binary code of creation itself. C sweeps in an unbroken arc, the simplest circle interrupted, representing the infinite potential curled into form. These aren't random scribbles mimicking human script. They're Euclidean primitives, straight lines and perfect arcs distilled from the void. As you trace D's bold semicircle backed by a vertical spine, feel the weight of its containment, a vessel holding chaos within order. E thrusts 3 horizontal arms from a central pillar, a trident of division splitting the one into many, mirroring how a single point expands into planes. F mirrors E, but shears away the base, suggesting sacrifice, the removal that births progression. G interrupts C's flow with an intruding bar, injecting intent into fluidity, the spark of consciousness, piercing pure motion. H bridges 2 pillars with a central rung, the ladder of ascension, connecting lower realms to higher. I, the pure vertical stroke, embodies singularity, the axis mundi around which all rotates. J hooks downward from I's line, a descent into matter, the divine spark falling into the material world. K splits from the spine into angular thrusts, a fractal branching, infinite possibilities radiating from a core. L grounds as a right angle, the 90-degree cornerstone of all rectangles, the foundation upon which grids of reality are laid. M doubles the V of A, twin peaks rising and falling, the waveform of energy propagation. N shifts that wave asymmetrically, introducing variance, the first mutation in the code. O closes the circle fully, perfection unbound, the torus of eternal return. P crowns a stick with a loop, the scepter of authority, partial enclosure granting dominion. Q threads a tale through O's wholeness, the paradox of inclusion within exclusion. R combines P's loop with K's fork, complexity layering upon simplicity. S serpents in dual curves, the Ouroboros halved, infinity in motion. T crowns the vertical with a cross arm, the world tree inverted, branches spreading from the trunk of fate. U cradles an open curve, the chalice awaiting filling, potential yearning for actualization. V inverts A, the funnel channeling energy downward into manifestation. W doubles V, the gateway doubled, portals upon portals. X crucifies lines at center, the intersection of all paths. Where opposites unite in tension, Y forks from a V stem, choice incarnate, the decision tree of free will. Z zags across parallels, the lightning bolt of change, connecting disparate states. These shapes, when arrayed, form mandalas of mathematical purity. Their angles adhere to sacred ratios, the golden mean appearing in the proportions of F's arms to stem, or the phi spiral latent in S's sinuous twist. Platonic solids project shadows here, tetrahedrons in A's facets, cubes in E's grid, icosahedrons in the starry scatter of K's rays. Together, they encode the 5 elements: line as fire, curve as water, angle as earth, intersection as air, enclosure as ether. Building blocks from which Arceus wove the plates of creation. But the true revelation lies in the 27th and 28th forms. Was the punctuation unbound by alphabet, the exclamation and the question? The rises as I surmounted by a hovering dot, a command from on high, the divine fiat, let there be, pure assertion thundering through the hierarchy. It anchors the cosmic order, the period of certainty amid flux, representing Arceus's unyielding will, the alpha decree that snaps potential into being. Opposite it, curves from a circle pierced by a descending line, the eternal inquiry, the void's whisper, why? It embodies doubt, the chaos preceding form, the beta uncertainty that allows evolution. In the hierarchy, exclamation mark crowns the creator's throne, while question mark lurks at the base, probing the edges of existence, birthing anomalies like space-time rifts. Together, they bookend the 26, forming a complete syntax, statement, query, resolution. This geometry isn't mere ornament, It's the literal source code of the Pokémon multiverse. Picture Unown as the qubits of reality's quantum computer, each form a function rendering worlds from nothingness. Just as DNA strands spell life in base pairs, Unown glyphs sequence the multiverse's fabric, align A and Z to frame boundaries, interweave, and to toggle creation modes. In Sinjoh ruins, where Arceus and Unown converge, trainers witness this firsthand. Their patterns unlock murals depicting Genesis, plates manifesting from aligned symbols, reality compiling before your eyes. Fan scholars pore over Lavventon's notes from Hisui, noting how Unown evade Pokeballs not through defiance, but because they predate capture mechanics. They're the subroutine writing the rules. In the Tannabe sequence, that precise order of forms isn't puzzle, it's its compiler syntax, executing seals older than Johto's soil. Seard's army in the Sivai depths, a hacked script forcing glyphs into weaponized loops. But the psychological backlash, the trainer's madness, stems from glimpsing the code's sublime indifference, drift deeper. These forms fractalize across scales. A single Unown mirrors galaxies in its strokes, clusters of stars tracing bees' lobes. Swarms in Alf's chambers self-assemble into hypercubes, fourth-dimensional lattices glimpsed in puzzle solutions, fossils animating as rendered models. Their telepathic hum, error-correcting parity bits, stabilizing Dialga's timelines against Palkia's distortions, the white noise resolving into symphony. Arceus, that wheel-throned architect, didn't birth Unown. They are its thoughts made manifest, extruded into two dimensions like blueprints from a higher plane. The people of Alph didn't invent script, they decoded it, etching Unown into stone to invoke the odd power, warping fossils into life as proof of concept demos. Molly Hale's Crystal Palace, a runaway render Unown scripting Entei from emotional input bounds unchecked. Yet this code harbours peril. Misalign the glyphs, skew a 90-degree L by a degree, and rifts tear open, ultra beasts spilling like glitches from beta builds. Hisui and Unown repel balls because their root access untouchable admins. Their dimensional preference, servers humming in the cloud, projecting avatars to our plane. As these forms dance in your mind's eye, interlocking in ever-escalating complexity, you sense the crescendo approaching. The ultimate alignment awaits. The ritual binding Unown's geometry to Arceus's core. Next chapter, the Arceus ritual, unveils how mortals dare compile the divine, risking total rewrite. What forbidden sequence summons the original one itself? I hope you're as amazed by this as I am. If you want to stay updated on more content like this, make sure to subscribe and join our community of curious minds. Trust me, what's coming next will challenge everything you thought you knew. Those 28 Unown forms, etched with mathematical precision from A through Z, the exclamation and question marks hovering at the cosmic edges, find their ultimate purpose deep within the Sinjoh ruins, where they awaken not as scattered symbols, but as the living instruments of Arceus itself. You step into that forgotten chamber, hidden beyond the veil of Sinnoh's mountains, is carrying the azure flute's echo or the event's sacred plate, summoning Arceus from its divine slumber. The air thickens, charged with an otherworldly hum, as the alpha Pokémon descends, its golden wheels spinning like the gears of eternity. But Arceus doesn't create alone. Shadows stir along the rune-carved walls, and suddenly they emerge. The Unown, pouring from cracks in reality, their eyeless faces glowing faintly, bodies twisting into those precise geometries we've traced. First comes the summoning circle. Hundreds of Unown swarm the floor, arranging themselves into a vast mandala, their forms interlocking like the strokes of ancient Shinto calligraphy. You see and, at the center, pulsing with uncertainty and command, framing the core where Arceus positions itself. The music swells then, a haunting melody, woven from ethereal chimes and deep resonant gongs, evoking the sacred rhythms of a Kagura dance performed under cherry blossoms at dawn. It's no ordinary tune. It's the soundtrack of Genesis, layered with whispers that feel like wind through temple bells, drawing you deeper into the ritual's trance. As Arceus rears, its body radiant with plates of earth, sea and sky, the Unown respond in perfect synchronization. Step 2 unfolds, the forging of the plates. Clusters of letter forms, clusters of O's and A's, X's and V's, detach from the mandala, spiraling upward to orbit Arceus. They don't just float, they project beams of raw energy, shimmering silver and gold, moulding into the elemental plates that define creation's domains. Watch the P-shaped Unown twist into the Draco plate, evoking Dragonfire's fury, while the jagged Z and lightning-like forms birth the Zap plate, crackling with electric potential. Each Unown acts as a chisel in the hands of the divine smith, carving reality from the void. Their collective, odd power, bending dimensions just enough to manifest matter from thought. The music intensifies here, strings like distant thunder rolling over flutes that mimic the breath of Kami, Shinto spirits invoked in ceremonies of renewal. Visual cues flood the chamber, holographic wisps rising from the Unown's unions with Arceus, forming embryonic shapes, swirling vortices that hint at stars igniting, oceans parting, continents heaving from primordial ooze. It's mesmerizing, almost hypnotic, the way the Unown's black bodies flicker against Arceus's luminescence, suggesting they've always been its extensions, fragmented tools scattered across time, waiting for this reunion. Now the third phase, the inscription of intent. Arceus channels its will through the central mandala and the Unown reform, spelling words in their ancient script across the air. Not random letters, but deliberate sequences, perhaps echoing the ruins of Alf's puzzles or the Tannabe sequence we unlocked before. They trace Dialga, Palkia, Giratina, each name igniting a pillar of light that pierces the dome above. The exclamation marks multiply, punctuating creation's declarations, while question forms swirl in eddies, probing the boundaries of what might be born. The haunting score dips into minor keys, evoking the solemnity of a purification rite, water drums pulsing like heartbeats in the Earth's core. Porries, you feel the ground tremble as Step 4 ignites, the weaving of life. Arceus extends its tendrils of light, and the Unown swarm inward, their bodies compressing into a nexus of pure potential. They become the loom, threads of unreality spun into form, crafting the plates anew before your eyes. Fist, flame, splash, every facet of existence reborn. The music reaches its crescendo, a chorus of unseen voices harmonizing with crystal chimes, painting visions of galaxies unfurling, Pokémon leaping from ether into flesh. It's Shinto purification, elevated to cosmic scale, the Unown as Misogi waves washing away the old world to midwife the new. And then the climax, the birth. In the ritual's heart, where the mandala pulses brightest, a glow coalesces. The Unown parts like a veil, revealing the egg. Not just any egg, but a vessel humming with infinite possibilities, its shell veined with Unown script that shifts and reforms. Arceus bows its head, infusing it with divine essence, and the implication hangs heavy in the perfumed air. This is no mere Pokémon hatching. This egg cradles a new universe, a pocket reality primed to bloom with its own Dialga to command time, Palkia to stretch space, Giratina to guard the distortion world. The Unown, tools of the creator, have partnered with Arceus to echo the original Sinnoh myth, the dawn of all from nothingness. The music fades to a lingering echo, gongs reverberating into silence, leaving you with the egg's gentle throb, the Unown dispersing back into the walls like ink dissolving in water. This ceremony, drawn from Shinto's reverence for creation cycles, reveals the unknown not as enigmas, but as Arceus's quill and palette, scripting life across multiversal canvases. Their shapes, once mere geometry, now pulse with purpose, hinting at rituals yet undiscovered, partnerships that could reshape everything. But whispers from those other dimensions linger, connections that pull the unknown toward even stranger kin. Up next, in Chapter 15, the Ultra Beast Parallel, we'll uncover how these reality warpers mirror the Ultra Beasts, those interdimensional invaders whose rifts might share the same unknown scribed origins. Stay with me as the mystery fractures further. As the swirling glyphs of Unown fade from the Sinjoh ruins, leaving behind echoes of Arceus's divine craftsmanship, a chilling realization emerges. Those same symbols, those living letters that bend reality at the god's command, might not hail from our world at all. They pulse with an energy that feels alien, ripped from cracks in the fabric of dimensions themselves. Consider their forms up close, those 28 twisted shapes floating in the dim glow of ancient chambers. Unown don't move like ordinary Pokémon. No legs propel them, no wings beat the air. They drift weightless, their bodies a seamless fusion of eye and rune, segmented like crystalline shards caught in eternal spin. That single glaring eye at the centre, it's not just for sight, it scans realities, probing the veil between worlds, much like the jagged, asymmetrical horrors known as Ultra Beasts. You know the ones. Those invaders from ultra space, bursting through wormholes in Alola's skies, Nihilego with its jellyfish tendrils that ensnare minds, Kartana slicing through steel like paper, or Buzzwole flexing muscles that defy physics. Their biology screams otherworldliness, translucent hides pulsing with neon veins, appendages that morph mid-battle, eyes that multiply or pierce like drills. Ultra beasts don't eat our food, don't breathe our air. They thrive on extra-dimensional energies, their cells humming with photonics and quantum flux. Now overlay that onto Unown. Strip away the familiarity of their alphabetic disguise. And what do you see? Bodies engineered for traversal, not survival in one plane. That rotating eye, it's a dimensional anchor stabilizing rifts just as Pheromosa's legs propel it through hyperspace. The rune-like shells resemble the crystalline armor of Stakataka, stacking and interlocking to form barriers against our reality. Even their colors, those stark blacks and whities, occasionally shimmering gold, echo the prismatic glow of Poipol's toxic orbs, or the radiant hide of Necrozma itself. Necrozma, the prism Pokémon, devourer of light, ultimate apex of Ultra Space's predators. Its form twists into blades and prongs, absorbing stars to fuel its rage. But trace back its lineage in the lore, and whispers emerge of progenitors, simpler entities, prototypes cast aside in the forge of creation. What if Unown represent that discarded batch? Base-level sketches from the same extra-dimensional nursery that birthed Necrozma's fury. Picture it. Deep in Ultra Space's fractured megastructures, entities evolve under laws alien to ours. Necrozma ascends, fusing light into weapons of apocalypse. But failures scatter, fragments too unstable, too primitive to harness full power. They tumble through rifts, landing in our world as Unown, the alphabet of the abyss, their shapes echoing ancient scripts, because they literally inscribe themselves into our history upon arrival. Not creators, but echoes of failed gods. This isn't wild speculation. Poke your head into the Pokédex entries. Unown prefer to live in another dimension, emerging only via mirage spots, those flickering tears in Alola's skies, identical portals to Ultra Beasts. In Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, they haunt these anomalies exclusively, their swarms warping local gravity, much like Guzzlord's Maw devours matter wholesale. Gather enough, and that odd power surges, telepathic hives bending space, conjuring crystal citadels from Molly Hale's dreams in the 10th movie, or repelling Pokeballs in Hisui's wilds. Researchers at the Ether Foundation saw it first. Those pristine labs in Alola, buzzing with Wicke and Faber's frantic notes as Ultra Beasts rampaged. They catalogued the beast's biology meticulously. Hyper-adaptive proteins that rewrite DNA on contact, neural networks firing across dimensions. Then whispers of unknown sightings in the same rifts. Lusamine herself, in her obsession, chased these parallels. Unown weren't just pests, they were the precursors, the raw code underlying Ultra Beast evolution. Why the terror? Because Unown scale infinitely. A lone one drifts harmlessly, mimicking letters to fool linguists like Lavventon. But mass them, hundreds in the ruins of Alph, thousands under Seard's command, and they rewrite existence. In the manga, Gold's flashlight awakened a horde that shredded Team Rocket's ranks, their collective gaze unraveling human flesh into glyphs. In Imagine Ether's vaults cracking open, Unown infiltrating containment fields, hijacking the beast's own biology to amplify the invasion. Modern scholars shiver at the math. Necrozma's light prism refracts into 28 spectra. Wait, 28? Precisely the count of unknown forms, including exclamation and question marks as wildcards for uncertainty in creation. Failed prototypes would retain vestiges. Unown's eye devours not light, but intent, manifesting thoughts into matter. Molly's Entei wasn't illusion. It breathed, roared, because Unown bridged her psyche to Ultraspace's forge. The Ether Foundation sealed reports after Lusamine's fall. Leaked memos speak of simulations, unknown hives interfacing with captured Nihilego, birthing hybrids that phase through walls, minds dissolving trainers into script. Other labs, from Sinnoh's Celestic Town to Hoenn's Devoncorp, halted unknown studies post-Sinjoh. Too risky. One breach and our reality unravels like a poorly solved puzzle in Alph's shrines. Even Arceus seems wary. In the ritual we just witnessed, it summons unknown not as equals, but reagents, volatile sparks to ignite plates of creation. What god fears its own tools? One that knows their origin, echoes of Necrozma's kin, slumbering invaders one swarm away from awakening. This parallel doesn't end in Alola's wormholes. It threads back to Tannabe's codes, the god's battleground, the geometry of forms. Unown aren't pets or puzzles. They're the bleed-through of ultra-horror, base code glitching into sentience. And as we peel back these layers, a deeper enigma surfaces, one that ties every glyph to the tongues of vanished peoples. Next, in Chapter 16, the lost language will unearth how those ancient voices first decoded the unknown, or paid the ultimate price for trying. If unknown represent the raw, unstable underbelly of extra-dimensional life, those base fragments echoing Necrozma's fractured light, then their most human touch comes etched in stone, a desperate cry from a people long erased. You can almost feel the grit under your fingers in the ruins of Alph, those crumbling chambers hidden beneath Johto's quiet hills, where the people of Alph once whispered secrets to beings that weren't quite Pokémon, weren't quite letters, but something in between. These weren't nomads scratching idle marks. The people of Alph built shrines around puzzles that demanded you rearrange painted tiles, scenes of ancient life frozen in time. Hisui, like the coiled shell of an omanite, or the leathery wings of an aerodactyl. Solve them, and the walls hum. Unknown spill out, swirling like ink in water, their eyeless forms twisting into shapes that mimic our own alphabet. 28 variants in all, from the stark A to the jagged exclamation that punctuates the unknown. This clan didn't just stumble upon them, they learned to speak their language, weaving unknown into inscriptions meant to endure for the ages. Scholars have pored over those walls for generations, debating if Unown birthed writing or if writing summoned unknown. Professor Lavventon, in Hisui, called them echoes of foreign scripts, dismissed at first as fanciful notes from a man chasing shadows. Yet the Tannabe library hoards tomes that paint a different picture. Ancient Sinno folk encountering Uxie, the being of knowledge, alongside flocks of these floating glyphs. Together, they say, those Pokémon gifted humanity the key to decode the shapes. Not random squiggles, but a cohesive tongue, telepathic and alive. Imagine the first Elder of Alph tracing an eye-form Unown across a cavern roof, feeling its psychic pulse sync with his thoughts, words forming not in air, but in mind. But peel back the reverence, and terror seeps through. Hidden deeper in the ruins, past the main hall's grand etchings, lie messages that shatter the myth of harmony. One chamber, triggered by aligning the fossil puzzles just so, reveals a frantic cluster, the letters spelling escape. Not carved with tools but burned into basalt by unknown psychic flares, erratic and overlapping, like a hand shaking in panic. You stand there, torchlight flickering, and the air thickens as residual energy hums, unknown forms phasing in and out, as if replaying the moment. They fled something, these people of Alph. Not beasts or rivals, but the very power they courted. The inscriptions warp nearby reality. Pebbles levitate, shadows stretch into impossible angles. What chased them? The collective, odd power that game lore warns of, when enough unknown gather and bend the world like wet clay. Then there's the other message, more haunting still. Help. Found in a side alcove, half buried under collapsed masonry, it's a plea scrawled in hasty J and H forms, elongated and pleading, as if the unknown themselves were coerced into forming the words. Linguists argue over the grammar. Unknown script lacks tenses, flows in eternal present, but the intent screams urgency. Help from whom? Arceus, perhaps? Of the deity whose plates unknown might embody, building blocks of creation splayed across Sinjoh ruins. Or was it a call to outsiders, future explorers like you, piecing together their doom? These aren't abstract relics. They rewrite the clan's fate. Picture the people of Alph thriving at first, summoning unknown hordes to etch histories, summon visions. Their shrines pulse with that telepathic chorus, walls alive with floating letters narrating victories over floods, famines tamed by otherworldly aid. But hubris creeps in. More unknown, stronger rituals. The air shimmers, dimensions thin. In the movies, it raw, a child's wish amplified into crystal citadels and phantom legendaries. Entei conjured from longing alone. Multiply that by a clan's ambition, and cracks form. Reality frays at the edges. Pokeballs repelled in Hisui. I'd like the ruins themselves rejecting capture. Did they vanish into the unknown dimension? That rift realm glimpsed in Mirage spots and ultra wormholes? Lore hints yes. Unknown prefer it there, emerging only when called. Their forms warping space like living portals. The people of Alph, mid-ritual, pulled too hard, sucked through en masse, their voices lingering as those etched warnings. Explorers in the manga awaken them accidentally. Gold's flash unleashing a swarm that routs Team Rocket as if the clan still guards their tomb. Or darker still, did they become the unknown? Flesh transmuted into psychic script, minds fragmented across 28 forms, eternally spelling their own demise. Escape and help as the last coherent thoughts, looping forever in stone. Feel the weight of that possibility. You trace the grooves, and for a split second your own thoughts echo back. Not yours, but theirs. A pang of isolation, the crush of infinite blankness. Linguists cross-reference with Arceus lore. At Sinjoh, Unown swarm to manifest creation, plates clinking like cosmic dice. Were the people of Alph early acolytes, testing the ritual before Arceus demanded perfection? Their failure, a blueprint for caution. Sired later weaponized them in the comics. A small army from Tannabe ruins, battering elites. But even she paid, psychological scars on trainers who glimpse the hive mind's abyss. The ruins whisper it still. Dust motes dance in beams slanting through cracks, forming fleeting Q-shapes, question marks hovering like accusations. What if every unknown you hunt carries a sliver of that lost clan, their pleas encoded in the stare of its single eye? The debate rages in hushed academic circles: dimensional exile or eternal transformation? No consensus, just more inscriptions unearthed yearly, each pulling the veil thinner. And those echoes don't fade with time. They drift into our world even now, patterns in the sky, glitches in the code of reality. Which brings us straight to Chapter 17, Modern-Day Observations, where you'll uncover how these ancient pleas manifest in swarms sighted just yesterday, reshaping everything we thought we knew. Those haunting cries of escape and help, etched by the people of Alph, still echo through the ruins. A final whisper from a civilization swallowed by the very letters they sought to master. But Unown didn't vanish with their scribes. They persist, slipping into our world like shadows between code lines, revealing themselves anew through the cold glow of modern screens and the hum of digital vaults. Consider the Pokédex, that indispensable tool every trainer carries. A sleek database meant to catalogue every Pokémon with clinical precision. Yet when it scans an Unown, something falters. The entry loads, sure, but the forms flicker, their alphabetic bodies twisting just beyond recognition, as if mocking the attempt to pin them down in binary. Professors note it in their logs. The device's speakers emit faint, unscripted static, a telepathic murmur that no firmware update can silence. You might catch it yourself, late at night, in a Pokémon Center, aiming your scanner at a hovering Q. The screen glitches, letters rearranging into nonsense words, pulling you into a momentary trance where time feels elastic. This unease amplifies in the digital storage system, the sprawling PC networks that trainers rely on to hoard their teams across regions. Ordinary Pokémon settle into boxes without protest, their data compressed into neat sprites. Unown, though, they resist. Reports from centers in Johto and Sinno describe anomalies, boxes filling with phantom forms, Unown multiplying in empty slots or vanishing entirely, only to reappear in a distant trainer's storage halfway across the world. One veteran from Goldenrod swears his PC once spat out an entire swarm during a routine withdrawal, the letters swarming his screen like a virus before reforming into a question mark that stared back. It's as if Unown view the PC not as a prison but a canvas, a vast virtual ruin where they etch their own puzzles, defying the architecture of the system itself. Trainers learn quickly to handle them with care. Store too many and your PC lags, interfaces warping with overlaid script no one programmed. In competitive circles, whispers circulate of Unown leaking data, overwriting entries of other Pokémon with cryptic glyphs. Game Freak's developers have patched it over generations, but the behaviour lingers, a remnant of that otherworldly origin. You feel it in the weight of your device afterward, a subtle heaviness, as though the alphabet has left fingerprints on the silicon soul. Shift your gaze to Hisui's wilds in the archives of Legends Arceus, and the defiance sharpens. Loose Unown there repel Pokeballs outright, the spheres bouncing harmlessly or dissolving into sparks mid-throw. No capture, no battle, just evasion. A polite refusal to engage with our tools of conquest. It's not aggression, it's indifference, as if modern tech registers to them as fleeting illusions, unworthy of their dimensional notice. Now expose these letters to artifacts of primal fury, like the red and blue orbs from Hoenn's depths, and their composure cracks in ways that chill even seasoned researchers. These orbs, vessels of Gruden and Kyogre's cataclysmic wills, pulse with raw elemental force, crimson for ground's quake, sapphire for sea's rage. Bring an Unown near the red orb, and it convulses. The letter's eye widens, body elongating into jagged spikes that mimic tectonic fractures, spinning erratically as if decoding the orb's inner apocalypse. Witnesses in Setopolis describe swarms drawn to the glow, clustering like iron filings to a magnet, their forms shifting en masse into exclamation points of alarm, the air thickening with ozone and the scent of scorched stone. The blue orb provokes equal frenzy, but inverted. Unown plunge into fluid distortions, letters melting into wave-like curls, telepathic waves crashing outward in pulses that drench nearby electronics in saltwater corrosion. One diver's log from Route 134 recounts a cluster encircling the orb's aura, their collective, odd power amplifying the relic's call until the sea itself churned unnaturally, whirlpools forming from nothing. Why this reaction? These orbs embody creation's violent twins, land and ocean rising from Arceus's plates. Yet Unown, the supposed building blocks, recoil as if pained by the reminder. Or empowered. Footage from rare encounters shows them absorbing the light, glowing briefly before scattering, leaving behind orbs subtly altered, and their energies stabilized almost, tamed. This dance hints at deeper fractures. Theories among Sinnoh's linguists posit Unown as intermediaries, buffers against the creator's unchecked might. Arceus forges plates into worlds, but the alphabet weaves the fine script, the code that prevents unraveling. The orb's chaos disrupts that weave, forcing Unown to intervene, mending tears in reality's fabric. Yet the toll is visible. Post-exposure, captured specimens grow lethargic in storage, their PC sprites dimmed, as if the primal pulse drained their essence. Pull back, and these modern glimpses forge a bolder picture of Arceus and the alphabet's bond. Not mere servants, Unown embody the creator's precision. His DNA, fragmented into 28 sigils that script existence itself. Sinjoh ruins demand their presence alongside Arceus for a reason. Without the letters, creation stalls, a blank page. The PC glitches, echoes of that ritual, Unown testing digital voids for new canvases. The orb frenzies, warnings that primal forces threaten the hierarchy, Alphabet rushing to reinforce the creator's design. Fan scholars in Tannabe push further. Arceus didn't birth Unown. They co-emerged, the deity's roar given form in spinning letters, a symbiotic loop where God shapes words, and words contain God. Those Sinjoh chants, the Shinto rhythms we dissected, their invocations, Unown channeling Arceus's will through human tech proxies today. Store them fully, align their forms, and perhaps you'd summon more than legendaries. You'd glimpse the wheel's next turn. But questions linger, his shadows in the code that no Pokédex can pass. What final veil conceals the alphabet's endgame with its creator? Join me next for Chapter 18, The Eternal Mystery, where we unravel the one enigma that could rewrite it all. Sleep well, trainers, the letters watch. Those fleeting encounters with the red and blue orbs reveal just a glimpse of Unown's defiance against our world's rigid structures. Digital chains snapping, Pokeballs repelled like whispers against a storm. But what if that resistance hints at something far grander? A puzzle we've chased through geometry, rituals, lost tongues, and shadowed dimensions. At the heart of it all lies Arceus, the Alpha, the creator, whose plates shape existence itself. Yet the Unown swirl around this deity like letters forming an unfinished sentence. Are they mere servants, bowing to divine will, tools wielded in the forge of creation? Or the true architects, with Arceus as their grandest inscription? Consider the Sinjoh ruins, that hidden chamber in Johto, where their bond unfolds in ritual. You remember the ceremony? The haunting melody rising as Arceus demands their presence, Unown spiraling into patterns that birth Dialga, Palkia, Giratina from threads of time, space, and antimatter. Without them, no new legends emerge. Arceus summons, yes, but the forms obey with an eerie autonomy, their shapes twisting into the very essence of those gods. Servants, perhaps, if you see blind devotion in their dance, But watch closer. In Legends Arceus, they scatter across Hisui, untamed, repelling capture, as if guarding secrets even the creator treads lightly around. Tools don't rebel, they bend. Fan scholars pore over this, who, drawing from ancient texts and game code alike, are known as building blocks, DNA of the cosmos, each glyph a nucleotide scripting reality. Arceus wields plates to channel chaos into order, but what if those plates are just frames, and Unown the ink that fills them? In the movies, they warp a child's dreams into crystal citadels and phantom ente, bending the fabric without a deity's nod. Telepathic hives, they hum in unison, spawning power that rivals legendaries, postdates language or predates it, birthing alphabets from their own forms, Latin echoes in Pokémon script, Lavventon's dismissed notes whispering of otherworldly origins. Uxie grants knowledge, but Unown, they etch it eternal. Philosophers in the Pokémon world, and beyond, grapple with this. A universe built on sentient language. Every star a syllable, to every Pokémon a paragraph in an endless tome. If Unown are the letters, conscious and collective, then creation isn't fiat from on high. It's dialogue. Arceus speaks through them, or they through it, a symbiosis where mastery blurs. Imagine, no, feel, the ruins of Alph, those puzzle shrines cradling fossil echoes, Ho-Oh's murals shifting under torchlight. The people of Alph communed here, their cries of escape and help, etched not by human hands, but Unown script preserved for ages. Did they grasp the truth? That language lives, watches, judges, Unown from another dimension, rift-born like ultra beasts, slipping through mirage spots, preferring shadows to our crude Pokédex grids. Their manga triumphs fuel the fire, gold awakening them at Alph to rout Rocket, Seard's army from Tannabe clashing with elites. Anime dimensions buckling under Palkia and Dialga's fury, Unown as silent witnesses, servants scatter when overtaxed, vanishing to recharge in unseen realms. Tools shatter under misuse, masters, they endure, reforming, always one step veiled. Step back now to those ruins under moonlight, Alph stones cool against your palm, inscriptions pulsing faintly like veins. Unown hover at the edges, invisible sentinels, 28 forms, plus exclamation and query, questioning eternity itself. They watch you, as they watch the people vanish into legend, as they watch Arceus slumber in halls unseen, waiting, not for command but for the next word, writing the future in script only they fully read. In this weave of servant, tool, master, one truth gleams, reality is a story, and Unown hold the quill. What page turns next? What did you think of this journey? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If this changed your perspective or taught you something new, consider subscribing for more mind-expanding content. And if you know someone who would find this as fascinating as you did, share it with them. These are the kind of conversations that matter.